At a school in Colorado, Melissa Lopez has come to talk to students about ecstasy and the devastating effect it has had on her family.
January 19th of 2008, I lost my 16-year-old son to an ecstasy overdose.
Melissa's son, Tony, was her first child and usually went by the nickname Toaster.
Tony was the cutest little boy, and always so happy. Ecstasy didn't describe who he was.
Since Tony's death, his friends regularly gather at Melissa's house to support her and to remember him. Among them is Tony's girlfriend, Christina.
The deeper we got into our relationship with each other, the more we started using ecstasy. We would do it 4 or 5 times a week, and we were getting in a lot of fights, and we both came to the conclusion that it was the drug that was doing this to us. And a couple of days before he passed away, we promised each other that we were done rolling. And he went behind my back and look where he is now.
On the night Tony died, he was hanging out with friends when he called Melissa to let her know of a change of plan.
About 8:30, Tony called me, and he asked permission to spend the night at his friend's house. He had been there before. I knew that a parent was going to be home, and I figured that was going to be fine.
Christina had been unable to speak to Tony all evening, and as it got late, she grew concerned. The boys with him wouldn't tell her what was going on. Finally, at 2 a.m., she climbed in through a window.
When I walked in, I didn't expect what I was gonna find, which was my boyfriend on a bed with a purple towel over his face.
At 3:15 that morning, Melissa was woken by a knock at the door.
When I opened the door, there was about 12 teenagers on my doorstep. I immediately walked past all of them, and I started looking in the cars and asking them, "Where's Tony?" There had already been a Jefferson County Sheriff parked down the street. He then came in, and all he told me was that you need to wait here. A coroner's going to come to talk to you. And it was at that moment that I knew that if a coroner was coming, that my son was gone.
For weeks, Melissa tried to find out exactly what had happened to Tony that night.
They said about 15 to 20 minutes after Tony ingested the pills, his knees gave way, and they had to lie him on the bed. He was sweating profusely, so they cut his shirts off of him in an attempt to cool him down. And they explained to me how when my son passed away, he let out the rest of his air, and that his eyes had rolled back, and then they knew he was gone.
Tony had suffered a severe case of hypothermia, brought on by the ecstasy. As his body temperature increased, he would have suffered major organ failure.
I believe that I represent your mother, and that's who I come to speak for, is for your mothers. Sorry. So that they will never have to go through this. Always, when it comes to ecstasy, I say it's like playing Russian roulette with your life, because you never know.